Welcome to the Lara and Zoe frequency. I'm Zoe, and I guess I'm here because I am spiritual by nature. I am a practicing medium. I'm a practicing healer. But originally, I actually did my degree as a veterinary nurse. So I am incredibly connected to the animal kingdom, the spirituality of animals, and the mystical and metaphysical of animals as well. I feel like me and Lara are going to have some exciting times and chats over the next few weeks. So stay tuned.
Yeah,
Lara.
I'm super excited about this. And I love that we've both got a bit of like a science medical background as well, because
Yeah.
that just gives us something that we can yeah, both kind of meet on. Because there's with spirituality, there's just so much, isn't there? So yeah, I suppose
And
a
there's
bit of
so much that science can't explain
yes,
either. And when the two kind of merge together, that's what's really exciting. And
yeah.
that's what I find quite interesting.
Yeah, it's that bridge, isn't it, between the two, because they're saying the same thing,
Mm,
just in like different languages, and it's
mm.
yeah, being able to understand both is quite a skill. But
Yeah.
so I'm Lara. I I'm a healer, a psychic medium. I'm currently studying neuroscience. What else do I do? Oh, I'm a coach, so I coach people as well, so that's quite exciting. Speaker, workshop facilitator. Um, I've always been able to see and hear things, even
Mm.
from a young age, but I never kind of put it down to as anything special.
No.
I thought just everyone was able to feel that or walk into a room and sense what was going on. And it wasn't until after working in the NHS at quite a high level that I realized that's not the road I wanted to go down and decided to look at more holistic side of things that I could help people. And I was like, oh wait, no, I've got this skill, haven't I? That I can maybe I can go into healing, and it turned out pretty well. So yeah, there's a bit of medical intuition thrown in there as well, which is lovely. Yeah, so
Yes, I always, like you, I always felt stuff and coming at it from a neurosparkly angle. I have an
yeah,
ADHD and autism diagnosis. I really struggle to read social cues. So even if it's turn taking and talking or people's emotions through talking. And so what I've come to understand is that from a very young age, I learned to read people's energy.
yeah,
And that was really the start of everything in terms of healing and mediumship because that was how I learned to fit in. By understanding their energy, I could understand how I needed to behave in a way that I wasn't able to pick up from perhaps tone of voice or
yeah.
um, their physical body language.
Oh, that's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, and I kind of people tell you if you're autistic, how can you be a psychic medium? Well, actually, it's because I'm autistic that I
Yeah.
became a psychic medium.
Well, I'm not diagnosed, but there's definitely, since I married my husband, who
Mm,
is definitely autistic,
mm,
I've figured out more that I think I've got autism and ADHD.
yeah.
So it's interesting that you say about reading energies and things like that as a way of being able to connect with people
Mm,
and understand people, because I've definitely had to teach myself how to be around others.
mm.
Um, and I feel more comfortable sat in silence with people.
Yeah.
I can have way more of a connection, although I do chat for England.
Mm. But isn't that just verbal stimming, right?
Yeah.
Which is really common in female autism.
Yes. Oh dear. The songs that get sung around this house
Yeah.
constantly.
Leia, yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting, isn't it, that you can walk into a room and you can pick up on
Yeah.
the energy and the frequency of what was going on in that room more than if someone had given you a lowdown of what's just been said. You can feel like,
Or
oh,
we've all walked into a room and felt like, or you've sat down next to somebody at a dinner party and you're like, they're not for me. They haven't spoken two words to you yet, but we've all
yeah,
been there where we're like, I don't think me and the person next door are perhaps, kindred spirits. So
hang on.
I'm just gonna move on. And
Yeah.
that's not because of anything they've said. It's just the vibrational energy that you feel
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah. And I think before I started my um Reiki healing training, I'd never thought about frequencies. It just never occurred to me that you could connect with someone in that way. But it's obviously something that we all do. Don't they call it like the sixth or the seventh sense?
Yeah.
I was reading in a book recently, that ants have sixth sense naturally, that they can connect with each other on like heat signals and things like that. So now this like paranormal, I suppose, is like the seventh sense. So that frequency kind of level. It's just fascinating. Um,
Yeah. And that kind of, I know there's scientific definitions of frequency when they measure things like brain waves, but
yeah,
certainly from a spiritualist kind of point of view, that's been adopted to think about your vibrational level and the
yeah,
the energy you're emitting,
mm-hmm.
not just necessarily the electricity frequency
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the frequency of the voice. And I think that's really interesting that spiritually we're thinking beyond our physical bodies. We're
yes,
thinking about that vibration and how it travels. Because we know that with sound waves, right? Vibration
yeah,
travels. It doesn't just come to an end. It slowly dissipates and creates ripples as the energy moves outwards. So why would the energy within me stay contained within me?
yeah. Well, energy doesn't die, does it? It just
Huh.
transforms and it changes into something else. So that makes
Newton's
complete
laws of
sense.
physics. Everything
Yeah.
must have an equal and opposite reaction, right? Everything, you can't, energy never goes anywhere.
No, I remember when I was dancing, that was one of my favorite things about being a dancer was the music. When we had live musicians playing, you could feel it vibrating in your chest
Yeah.
and you just connected with it so much more than if it was on a tape or something. There was something about having that live instrument vibrating near you
Mm.
that just felt so special.
Yeah, and I'm getting a bit old for it now. But if I can turn up some really banging drum and bass, like really loud, obnoxious music to volume 11, that will always completely chill me out if I'm getting really stressed. And it's about feeling that bass sort of
Yeah.
resonating through my chest, that bass beat, and then having the higher vibration of the harmonies or the vocals sort of hitting my head. And the two vibrational energies together really help me change my own energy.
Yeah, we have kitchen raves first thing in the morning. I come down and I put the music on and I dance around with my dogs because we don't have kids. So I, I don't, but that gets
I
me in
have
such
kids,
a
but they
mood.
wouldn't dance with me. I'd be dancing with the dog. So.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
But you can tell a morning that I haven't done that because
Yeah.
my energy is just so low and my mood is so low compared to a morning where I've danced it out and I've listened to something. And that thought as well about because you touched on it just a moment ago about the high vibration and the low vibration of people, and they say like low vibration energy is like anger and sadness, and then you get high vibration energy, which is like happier things. And that had never occurred to me before. Like I'd never sat and thought about it before, but once learning energy healing, it all just makes complete sense.
The
The
The only issue I have is sometimes I hear people talk about low vibration as if that's really negative. And I think
Yeah,
we have to acknowledge that having low vibration from time to time is part of the human experience. And
yeah,
that's part of your spiritual growth as well.
yeah.
Because
Well,
I think sometimes low vibration, it gets a bit of a bad rap in the
yeah,
spiritual community. Oh, they've got so low vibration. Ooh. But really, it's the yin and yang, the light and the dark. Everything must have balance. You can't be on a high vibration all the time
no.
because you would crash.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I teach my ladies actually is that we need those low vibrations to keep us safe from a
Yeah,
survival point of view. We can't be up in the clouds 24/7 because we die. We wouldn't see predators. We wouldn't, we wouldn't be able to tell what was good or bad or who makes us feel better being around them or any of that if we didn't feel the low as well as the high. And
yeah, it's
sometimes, yeah,
yeah,
sometimes it's good to have a bit of a low point to be able to sort your
yeah.
crap out.
And it's good to be angry if someone crosses a boundary that is close to your heart. You should be angry because that gives you the necessary adrenaline you need because there's a chemical reaction that happens there through your fight or flight mechanism to
Hmm.
drive you to stop that behavior from happening again. So it's actually a positive thing. Sometimes you need to have that low vibration because you need to have the adrenaline, you need that nervous system, that part of your nervous system to kick in so that you can even if it's just maintaining a boundary, it doesn't have to be that you're being attacked by a bear, you know. um, in that instance, definitely run and fight. Um, but you need it, and they've actually extended it because it always used to be the fight or flight mechanism. It's now the fight, fright, or frolic mechanism, because the same as part of your nervous system kicks in just before you start getting amorous with your loved one because you get the same adrenaline release,
Oh, I haven't heard
particularly
that
in the
before.
early stages of a relationship where everything's new and exciting. That's why it feels all butterfly. That's why you feel butterflies in your stomach,
Oh,
because your adrenaline is slowing down your digestive system to
yeah.
get you ready for what might happen next. So as you've got the
Oh,
adrenaline in your system. So
wow.
that emotion links to how our bodies behave on a chemical level.
Do you know, Anth and I were having a conversation the other day about when we were first dating.
Mm.
And I said that I was so nervous around him and my body was on such high alert that I sat on my legs for 2 hours once because I was too afraid to move.
Yeah.
And what you've just described is really interesting because that was my body being like, oh God, something's going to happen.
You don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
And your body wasn't, perhaps because we can't always differentiate, right? We get this feeling within our body and we don't necessarily know what it means. So
yeah,
because it's all the same system that's triggering fight, fright, or frolic. Oh man, that's a mouthful. But why wouldn't you then tip into fright rather than
yeah,
frolic? You know?
yeah. So,
But
so there's me.
it's a well recognized mechanism, not just in humans, but in pretty much any mammal on the planet.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, there's me sat on my legs for 2 hours
Yeah,
and then couldn't walk afterwards because
we all do it. We all do it.
idiot.
I
Oh,
couldn't eat before seeing my now husband when we first started dating because I felt so
oh,
nauseous just in
yeah.
anticipation of going to see him, and
Oh, I love that.
you get nervous and you get butterflies in your stomach, and yeah.
Yeah. Do you know, you said something to me before about when you go into a reading
Mm,
that I thought was really fascinating and the state that you put yourself in before
yeah.
a reading. So it's a theta state, isn't it?
There have been studies done of those who meditate and they can measure your electrical brain activity. And you put yourself, when you're meditating, your brain activity moves into a theta state, which is the same state you are like just before you fall asleep or just before you wake up from sleep. So it's that kind of haziness state where you feel like you're between two worlds,
Yeah.
where you're not quite awake and you're not quite asleep. And they've studied monks in things like MRI chambers
Love it.
meditating, and they have theta brainwaves. They've measured their brain activity, their theta brainwaves, and they've done a similar study in the US using mediums when they're channeling, and very often their brainwave activity changes to theta brainwave
Wow.
activity. And um, I know I intentionally take my brain vibration. I didn't know to call it a theta state until I'd been reading up about it, but
Yeah.
I didn't, I intentionally take my brain activity into a different space. And when I read for people, I very often don't remember the vast majority of the reading while I'm
Yeah.
channeling. And so people will say, "Oh, you read for me 6 months ago, and my gran told me this," and I'll be like, "That's very nice.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, but I don't really remember. I might remember bits and pieces if it was something um, particularly different that
Hmm.
happened in the reading, or I might remember the person coming. I definitely remember the people that came to me and sat in front of me. But at that point where I start channeling, it kind of
Yeah.
all just falls away. And it's my spirit guides, and their loved ones that I'm holding space for. And I
Wow.
definitely changed my vibrational energy to do that
That's
deliberately.
incredible that you can control that as well.
Mm.
Because there's people that can lucid dream, and
Yeah,
it's around that kind of brainwave state, isn't it, as well, where they can
yeah,
control their dreams, and I'm just absolutely fascinated by it.
yeah, absolutely. And how often do we have dreams where loved ones that have passed have visited us, or we have a dream where we know we feel like we've been there before. We've got this incredible sense of deja vu. Probably because you have. It's a past life remembrance that's coming to you in a dream, or you might have even been there in a dream previously. But when you're in that theta state, you can see and feel and experience those things so much more strongly than when you're being overstimulated in a beta state,
Yeah.
because you're suppressing all of that nervous system because you're putting yourself in a really safe space. My nervous system is kind of shutting down at that point.
Wow. So I was just thinking because before, so the way that I do my readings is it's almost like a Reiki session. I
Mm,
get people led down, and I'm now getting more messages just randomly throughout the
mm,
day, but the way that I've always done it is people lie down and I connect with them with my hands physically, but I do something funny with my eyes.
yeah,
So I close my eyes, but if I want to go into their body, I roll my eyes down.
yeah.
And if I want to connect with something higher, I'll roll my eyes up.
Oh,
And it's like it takes me into different states, I
yeah,
suppose, to figure out. So I'm kind of doing that by rolling my eyes. And someone said to me, they've watched me whilst I've been doing it, and they're like, your eyes are doing real funky things. So that's probably similar then to what you're
yeah. It's
describing.
probably the way you've a natural way you found of moving your vibrational energy to be able to do energy work, right? Because
Yeah,
you have to be able to move energy to do energy healing and
yeah,
channel energy to do energy healing. And every medium and healer will have their own way of doing that. What works for me won't work for someone else, and what works for you won't work for someone else, because we're all unique beings, and that's what's so magical about it. But every medium I speak to definitely has practices or ways of doing things that enhance their physical and emotional state to be able to read the vibrational energy and frequency around them.
Yeah, there's another thing that I do before any sessions with people is I shower and that water energy. And if I mean, I can't be showering several times a day. So if I can't get
Mm.
into the shower, I'll wash my hands. But it's another way of channeling into energy and different frequencies and
Yeah,
um,
I use very specific crystals as well
ah,
when I'm for different things. Like I'll use different crystals for healing, but if I'm channeling for readings, there are 3 or 4 different crystals. I'll rotate through which ones I use, but there are 3 or 4 different crystals that I will use their energy or use their energy to enhance my energy.
yeah, wow.
Because
See,
all of those atoms have vibrational energy. That's how they stay together in an atom, is the
yeah.
positive and negative energy within the atom and the vibrations within it.
So that's something I'd be really interested in because I've never really worked, like I've worked with crystals in a witchy way, but never in a kind of in that kind of healing way, which I think is just being able to have a crystal that you're using almost as if it's a friend and it
Yeah.
has like, purpose to it. I think
Oh,
there's
yeah.
something so
They're not just for decoration.
yeah.
I work with these bad boys, and like if I've got someone coming in, I'll be like, okay, I think I'm going to need this one because I think they need that type of healing or that type of healing, that type, or
Yeah.
that type of reading.
Have you always been drawn to crystals?
Yeah, I used to come home with pockets full of rocks as a kid,
Really?
and my my sister was just as bad, and we even cracked the sink in the downstairs toilet washing stones,
Oh no.
much to my mum's horror,
Yeah.
and my dad's. We got in trouble for that. But yes, washing stones, going on fossil hunts, digging up worms in the garden. I was definitely that kid, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's quite an autistic trait as well, picking up rocks. Because I have handbags full of rocks that my husband's been like, yeah, like that one. That's coming home with
Yeah,
us.
yeah. It's it's a thing where we just see something you because you don't see the world how a lot of other people do,
Yeah.
right? And for I always call myself neuro sparkly or for neuro sparkly people, that's about 1 in 4 of us, they reckon now. We just see the world differently. And because um it's not set up for us really, but
Yeah.
that has a beauty because when you look at other objects you see them differently to other people. And so I've got bits of driftwood hanging around where I was like, oh, do you know what, that looks like a snake's head. I'm going to take that piece of driftwood home and put it in a cupboard, and I've still got it 25 years later
Yeah.
because I just look at things and I'm like, oh, that's got a very beautiful presence about it that I don't think anybody else has seen, and that is a very autistic thing to do.
Yeah.
So is
Uh,
hoarding, because I do that too.
oh, but I mean, you can see behind me all the treasures that I found along the way
Yeah,
that are just, the whole house is just full of it and like bits of wood and stones. And it makes sense because of the energies. This feels good to me. This
this
feels
feels
nice
good.
when I
Yeah.
pick that up. Or like walking around on moss and like mud, the energies that you get, as long as I wash my feet thoroughly afterwards and it's not too sticky, because that's one of my
Right.
neuro
Yeah.
spicy things is the sticky. Can't handle that. But for a brief moment, there is such relief from having my feet connected in that way to the earth and feeling the vibrations. That's such a hippie thing, but feeling the,
It's not though, because like it dates back further than that. Like I'm a reflexologist as
ah,
well,
yeah.
and everything is channeled through your feet. And even if you go back to the times of the ancient Egyptians, you can look at the hieroglyphs and you can see people performing reflexology because we
Wow.
channel energy through our feet. So definitely by placing your feet on different surfaces with a different vibrational energy, you are going to feel that. Why,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it just feels so much like being out in the woods. I just want to, I mean, it's not practical all the time because there's loads of things that want to hurt you, but
Or sometimes, like in the middle of winter, it's just cold and wet and muddy and just not, it's just not
not
practical.
nice.
But yeah, if you can get to some grass in the summer and take your flip-flops off for a bit and just ground in some fresh grass or a bit of moss or some sand or
Yeah.
pebbles near the shore,
Ah, yeah.
it's all good.
One of the tools that I actually give to clients who live in cities is if they're ever feeling like really big emotions and they can't cope with it, is they've got a pre-prepared box of mud
Yeah,
that they just stick their hands in and it's like, ah, okay, just sit with your hands in the mud for 5 minutes and
yeah.
see how you feel afterwards. And yeah.
And you can get like foot massages that you put in the bottom of your shower as well. I
Ooh,
don't know if you've seen those. You can get them
no.
online and you can get them places really cheap, but you put them in the bottom of the shower. So when you're in the shower, you can be rubbing your foot over the lumps and bumps and give yourself a mini foot massage.
Oh.
That feels really nice too.
Yeah. So Reiki, not Reiki, reflexology.
Mm.
I love that the whole body is represented on the foot.
Yeah.
That if
And
you've
the
got,
hand.
yeah, that if you've got like a little headache, you just rub a certain area, or you can tell if someone needs the toilet or they're on their period from little lumps that they've got in there. That's just wild that our bodies are able to communicate in those ways.
I was doing a client's feet recently and I hit a certain point and I was like, you've been eating too much rubbish this last couple of weeks. Like, you need to drink a bit more water and eat a few more fruit and vegetables. And they just looked at me like, how did you know? It's like, because as I pressed it, you had
Yeah.
this physical reaction on your liver apex. And it was like,
Oh,
okay, that's a sign for me that your liver's complaining a little bit. And the
yeah.
typical reason your liver complains for most healthy adults, your liver is complaining because there's a dietary lapse or there's a dietary insufficiency that going on where
Wow.
we're eating a little bit too much fatty foods and your liver's going, "Urgh."
So there's no secrets from you then. Someone comes from
No.
you know everything.
Well, what's the point in coming to a healer or a medium and trying to
Absolutely.
hide from them? I know I
Yeah.
have had that experience where people put energy blockers in place, and I'm sure you felt that as well.
Yeah.
But I kind of then have to say to them, look, if you're feeling nervous, we can talk about that, because I can feel that you're trying to block me. Or if you don't think I'm for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
And we can call it now because there's no point trying to trying to move forward if you're not gonna be honest with me. I can't help you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it is really like deep work that we do. And you want to get to the root of the issue. And sometimes the root of the issue isn't always, well, a lot of the time it could be past lives and things like that that need working on. So being able to connect to people in that way. And if they've got blocks up, then there's no way that you're going to be able to do that. I remember once, this was maybe it was about 2 years ago actually, that I got into a bit of a meditation and I got so cold, like bone chillingly cold. And I came back round and I was like, what? And I'd gone somewhere else completely. And I spoke to one of the ladies who was teaching me a bit about Wicca. And she was like, that sounds like you were doing astral projection.
Ah,
And yeah, that level of like shifting frequencies where your physical body just completely shuts down to
mm,
the point that there's no heat in your bones even. Like that's a
mm,
weird thought, hot bones. But yeah,
mm,
I thought I'd like to look into that a bit more and that kind of
mm.
connection because that's a really deep one as well.
I work with dragons a lot,
Yeah.
and I work with galactics a lot, but I work with dragons a lot, and I know. that when I'm doing readings, particularly, and healings, I have to wear layers because I can't, like a reptile, I can't regulate my body temperature.
Yeah.
I almost become poikilothermic. So my body temperature is the environment around me, which is unusual for mammals, other than newborn babies. So I have to wear lots of layers, and then they're coming off and going on and coming off and going on because
Yeah.
I can't regulate. And I think we do when we are meditating, or we are healing, or we're working in a mediumship way, there are bits of our bodies that we cannot regulate because our energy is elsewhere. It's like spinning plates, isn't it? You can't keep them all going. And so I think body temperature is one that fluctuates quite a bit, and
Yeah.
sometimes, in your case, completely topples over.
Yeah. Well, I remember feeling just so bitterly cold, but not being able to do anything about
Mm.
it. And there was even a fire going in the cottage, and it gets really toasty with the fire going. And I came round afterwards, and I was like, that was the weirdest experience. Um, yeah, and I'll play around with it again and see what happens. And
Yeah.
yeah, maybe layers are the way forward.
Maybe layers will help you out. But they've proven as well with meditating, it does affect your physical state, because they call it the heart connection, or the heart brain connection. I can't remember which way round it is, but there's a connection between how the type of brain waves you're emitting and the regulation of your heart and the rest of your body.
Yeah,
So even although science can't prove a lot of this stuff around um, some of the metaphysical stuff you and I
yeah,
talk about, there are groundings of science and aspects there that maybe if somebody wanted to spend some money on studying it, they would discover a little bit more.
yeah. That's one of the things as well. I've thought quite heavily about is just because science hasn't caught up with that as yet doesn't make it any less real.
Oh,
Just because it hasn't, and I think it loses its meaning almost when people are like, oh yeah, that's because of this physical thing. It's like, great, so you've understood the mechanism, but that hasn't told us why.
no. And I love a documentary, and I love watching stuff around like how was the universe created. Love a bit of Brian Cox,
Yeah,
and I understand that like active geology led to active biology, and I understand that the energy of the Big Bang created. But where did that energy come from? And they
hmm,
still don't really know. They can't really explain how the universe works.
yeah,
And the more we think we know, actually, the less we realize
yeah.
we know.
I have to stop myself thinking about that because they say the universe is ever expanding. I'm like,
Yeah.
into what? Into what? Like, what is it expanding into? Like, ah. That, yeah, that sends me into a spiral, and I've had to like,
Billions of miles an hour, you know?
yeah,
I mean, it's not mind-blowing speeds. And we still haven't quite figured out. I love that Monty Python song, the Eric Idle song, the song about the universe, and especially the ending. That's the thing that kind of keeps me going some days. It's like the universe is so big with this tiny little thing,
yeah.
and we better hope there's intelligent life somewhere up in space, because there's bugger all down here on Earth.
Oh, absolutely.
Every
Oh,
time I listen to the news, I can hear Eric Idle in my head.
oh, I love it. That's your brain's way of like keeping you safe and calming you down.
Yeah,
Like,
keeping me calm every time the news is on.
yeah.
Listening to Prime Minister's question time.
Oh God. Yeah, we all need our techniques when hearing that stuff. I've had to stop listening to the news. It makes me so sad.
And that
I can't.
sketch must be, what, 40, 50 years old, but it still resonates.
Good. I was listening to a talk the other day, and the lady who was running it was saying about all the different lives that we have, and
Mm,
how coming here and having a human experience is one of the worst, not the worst, but the hardest that you can
mm,
have, and it accelerates a lot of your path, I suppose, towards ascension, if people believe in ascension or those kind of things, that it speeds up the vibration so much from all this hardship and crap that we have to go through. And that apparently there are souls on the other side just queuing up to have this experience. And there's us sat there like, oh God, when will it end? I've had enough of this one
but
now.
that's
Make it stop.
gratitude, isn't it? We should be grateful for the things that we do have, and I think that is part of the human experience, is whether you believe in reincarnation or not. I
Yeah.
personally do, because I don't believe the energy of a soul can just disappear.
No.
And so why wouldn't it be repurposed for
Yeah.
another lifetime, so your soul can go on and learn? It makes sense to me,
Yeah.
but each their own. I think that whether you believe in that or not, part of the human experience is to be grateful for the things that we do have, and try not to get upset by the things that really don't matter. And I
Yeah.
know everybody, I'm sure, that is listening to this has had an experience where they've had a friend or family member that's getting really aerated over something, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Don't care.
does that really matter? There's
Yeah.
people dying out there. Does it
Yeah.
really matter that you didn't get the special offer that was in on Tesco's on your club card this week, or your £2.50 discount wasn't applied? Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah. Bit of perspective.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and that gratitude changes your energy. And you do have some people. I know I was sat in the doctor's waiting room the other day, and a lady came in complaining, quite rightly, because she'd got very wet because the bus route had changed, and she'd got very, very wet, having to walk to a longer bus route. But the lady that was with her in the waiting room, that was she was complaining to, said, "Oh, well, I can give you a lift home. Don't worry about it," because it was still pouring down in rain. She was like, "Oh, no, no, no.
Oh no, I'm going to go out in the wet and I'm going to get even more mad.
I'll just have to get wet, and and you're just
Oh
like, well,
no.
you're now just wanting to complain about something. Your friends just offered you a lift
Yeah.
home, but I have a free bus pass, so I should get picked up where I want to get picked up from." And this went on and on and on. And when you're like, well,
Yeah.
yes,
You
I
bring it on
understand
yourself
it's
a little bit with that.
frustrating, but
Yeah.
there are worse things that can happen to you
Yeah.
than getting a bit wet walking to a bus stop.
Absolutely.
There's some
When
people in this waiting room that are really sick. So
yeah, absolutely.
so shall we keep things in perspective?
Yeah. When when I started with Reiki training, I remember my Reiki master, she was going through the just for today kind of like
Yeah,
the Reiki motto, and she was saying how she used to be quite an impatient person, and since she got her attunements she became really patient with the world, and that people really didn't annoy her much anymore. And I sat there and thought, yeah, right, whatever, you've got to say that, you're selling a product, aren't you? You have to, like, what and coming from corporate backgrounds and working, as
yeah,
you know, in things that really can destroy your soul, um you learn that patience isn't always easy. So when she was saying that, I was like, yeah, whatever, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then after my attunement, it was a couple of weeks after, and I spoke to her again, and I was like, oh, you were right, weren't you?
mm,
Yeah, that just attuning yourself and changing your frequency a little bit. I found I'm a lot more patient with people,
yeah,
and just like, and I thought it was absolute bullshit.
yeah.
She was saying all
You
of
you
this.
do, though. You
Mm.
do, and you have to remember that most people, there are one or two exceptions to this rule, but most people don't set out to be an arsehole.
No, no.
One or two exceptions to the rule, but for the majority, if they cut you up or they jumped ahead of you in the line, there's probably something else going on with them that day.
Yeah.
But that little bit of annoying behavior that has had an impact on you,
Mhm.
probably you don't know them. What if they've just had bad news about a loved one? What if they've just suffered a financial loss or they've lost their job or they might be a bit distracted? And there are times where I'm sure I am not the perfect human.
Yeah.
I've not been paying attention when I went to step out on the road and somebody had to stop, or, and so, but I didn't do that deliberately. It was because my brain was elsewhere because something else had happened to me that day. And so I think I am better now. The more spiritual I have become at giving people grace for
Yeah.
those moments, and hope that they do the same for me
Mhm.
for the moments when I am unintentionally an asshole.
Unintentional asshole.
Unintentional asshole, because we all do it
Yeah.
occasionally, and
Yeah.
it's not because we're being deliberately
Yeah.
trying
It's
to
not
be difficult.
malice.
It's not out of malice. It's because we just weren't paying attention, or we're overstimulated, or we're just not taking in all of the information and able to process it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ant said something interesting to me. I'm so clumsy, like
Mm.
really, really clumsy. I'm always falling over. I'm always dropping things. And he started saying it's because you don't pay attention. And then you saw something in his head click, and he goes, actually, no, I think it's because you pay attention to so much.
Mm.
Your brain is working on so many other things with the ADHD and like just picking up so many energies from everywhere that things like that do happen a lot to you
Yeah.
because your mind is,
Yeah, and they have medically proven that there is a connection between autism and dyspraxia.
oh,
So there is they're combined conditions very often. So if you're autistic, there's a good chance you could be dyslexic, you could be dyspraxic. There's a good chance you'll have ADHD as well, because they all sit within the same genetic piece of code. And
yeah,
so you are more likely to be clumsy, because you don't have the same physical senses in your body that a neurotypical person does,
amazing.
which is why we stim differently.
Yes.
Or like for the majority, while we've been talking, I've got something that I'm fidgeting with
That's what I've been
because
doing.
I,
Yeah.
I can't I can't sit still. I can't regulate in the same way. And so why wouldn't that diversity extend beyond your brain? If your energy extends beyond your brain, why wouldn't the
Yeah.
change or the difference extend beyond your brain into your physical self as well?
Yeah. Wow. Do you know what? The only time that I was never clumsy and that my body actually worked the way I wanted it to work was when I was dancing. You put me
Yeah.
in a dance studio or on the stage, I don't fall over. My body is exactly where it needs to be, doing exactly what it needs to do. And I'm like, why can't it just do that all the time? Why can't I
Because
just...
there's muscle memory, isn't
Yeah.
there, within a dance routine? So you practice and practice and practice and practice, but you can't practice pouring a glass of wine. Well, you can,
Yeah.
but if you practiced it 100 times over, then there'd be other symptoms that would make you dyspraxic.
Yeah.
um, so that it's that muscle memory with a dance routine, isn't it? That you'll probably
Yeah.
find is a difference.
And I think as well, being able to, I used to, so this kind of state that I go into when I'm healing someone or doing a reading for someone is a similar state that I used to be in when I was dancing.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. And I'd get most of my life problems sorted out in a ballet class.
Really?
Yeah, because my body would be doing what my body needed to do, and my brain would be off.
Yeah.
Um, like the default mode network had turned off a bit, and my brain was like, "Ah, here we go. Let's go and process some crap from years ago, or like a life problem that's happened." And
Yeah. But why does meditation have to be sitting still? You've
yeah,
heard of the dance of
absolutely.
the whirling dervishes?
Yes.
That is a dancing meditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I think it's an Islamic religion,
Yeah.
based in the Middle East. But yeah, the dance of the whirling dervishes is a dancing meditation. Why can't you have a meditation with movement?
Yes.
I think maybe a topic for another time, but
Yeah.
there's I think there's become a when the NHS started recommending meditation, there has become a prescribed way to
Mm-hmm.
meditate,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm I'm not sure that that is meditation. And maybe discussing meditation is a topic for
Yeah.
another day. Because if you get me down that rabbit hole, there'll be another 2 hours worth of content that
Yeah.
uh, we can talk about. But people experience that differently, and different things work for different people.
Yeah. I meditate a lot when I cook. And I
Yeah.
bring in my witchy practices into that as well. So I'm stirring in things that I want for the family. And like that's when I meditate a lot. And I find quite a lot of comfort in cooking.
Mm.
Maybe because of like cultural wise as well with Indians, food is love.
Yeah.
It just makes me really happy. And I can do that and meditate so much easier than if I was told to go sit in a church hall and om.
Yeah.
Because to me that is hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not
It
ideal.
doesn't it's not, and different things work for different people.
Hmm.
And being again neurosparkly, I had to teach myself to meditate to try and um change my frequency at times. And so actually did a course on how to be a meditation teacher, which was really interesting. Um, because I needed to learn different techniques to be able to do that for myself.
Yeah, that's something, isn't it? That you get into this to help others and to, heal others and to be that conduit.
Mm.
But along the way, you learn so much about yourself that then you are changing and developing as you're doing it, which I think is one of the beautiful things about a good healer
Mm.
is that it's someone that has the lived experience, that has gone through it, and it's not someone that's just picked up a book or sat in a lecture hall and they can actually empathize with you and show their own journey through it. Because I've healed so much of myself from learning how to do it for others.
Oh yeah. And when I was thinking about today and talking to you on what frequency means to me, that was the
Yeah.
thing that kind of I came back to, is that frequency isn't positive all of the time, but it's about being clear enough to hear my own soul. What that's what it really means for me. And so in doing that, in hearing my own soul, being able to listen to the souls of others, that is incredibly healing,
Yeah.
both physically and emotionally.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. So it's not the physical frequency, it's the being able to just quieten down and being able to listen enough that,
Just being able to hear my own soul. And sometimes you can be busy while you're doing that.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be, you could be out running. I used to get into a meditative state when I could run before my back problems, but I used to
Yeah.
get into a meditative state while I was running. It might be that you need drumming or certain smells, or sometimes you do need stillness. Maybe you need to have a combination of different practices to
Yeah.
get yourself there. But when you can hear your own soul, that's when you heal.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's that authentic kind of like
Yeah.
being, isn't it? Oh, I love it.
I've got to know me and accept me for who I am.
Yeah. And you can tell people that haven't done that work because you look at them and that you're like,
Yeah.
and that's a bit of judgment on my part. And I try not to judge people. And I was very judgy then. But I gravitate towards people that have done a bit more of the work and are a bit more.
Well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? You have the right to choose. So
Mhm.
some people choose not to do the work on
Yeah.
themselves, and that's okay. That's their choice. But I
Yeah.
can choose not to have them in my close circle,
Hmm.
because within my close circle, I'd like to have people who are more aware of
Yeah.
their soul and the energy that they put out and how they impact other people.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
you don't want to do that, that's fine. You can
Yeah.
have a lovely human life over there with a
Not at my
different set of
table.
friends,
Yeah,
and all
absolutely.
the power to you. You know,
Yeah.
that's okay. Doesn't It's not, no
Yeah.
skin off my nose, no skin off yours.
Well, I think, oh, so we're going to do so many more of these, aren't
Yeah.
we? We're going to,
Well, we definitely need to do one on crystals and healing, don't we? And we need to do
yes.
one on meditation. There's a couple of subjects there that we've kind of touched on today, but there is a whole load of content on.
Yeah. And I think we decided we'd start with talking about frequency first, because obviously the name of the podcast. But frequency just applies to so much out there that it just felt right that that would be the first kind of subject to delve
Yeah,
into.
it applies to so much, and whatever your belief,
Mhm.
right, and whatever walk of life you come from, you can't live your life without encountering frequency.
Yeah. Ah, perfect. Perfect. So, yeah, as we said, there's going to be more of these, and hopefully more people will come and join in along the way and listen in, and we'll be going out and doing loads of fun things. So, if there's anyone watching and there's something that they'd like us to talk about or a place they'd like us to
Absolutely.
go and like figure out anything that's going on in that area, because we spoke about going to Avebury and all sorts of places, didn't
Yeah,
we? So, yeah, comment below if there's any suggestions or things you'd like to learn about, and we'll do our best. Um, but yeah, this has been fun.
it has been super fun. Thank
I've
you for
loved it.
chatting to me
Oh,
and
thank you so
sharing your
much.
experiences with me. I'm going to be picking your brains on how I can meditate through dance further with a slightly injured back.
Yeah, come round. We'll put the drum and bass on.
Oh, yeah, some banging prodigy.
Yeah, have a good boogie.
Yeah. Kitchen rave at Lara's house. I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm in.
Oh, I love it. Brilliant. Well, we'll see you all soon.
Much love to everyone.
Bye.
Bye.